Bird Box Barcelona is Netflix's sequel to the 2018 smash hit horror Bird Box, starring Sandra Bullock and a host of talent that gained huge viral acclaim upon its release. The movie shared a lot of stylistic beats with A Quiet Place, if you haven't seen it already, with the conceit here being that instead of needing to be quiet to avoid the film's monsters, in Bird Box, the name of the game was blindfolding yourself while outdoors, as seeing visions of monsters cause people to either immediately commit suicide or become slaves to the visions, trying to get others to see and end their lives. The original, which was adapted by John Mallerman's novel, also served as a clever, stealthy kind of metaphor for mental health, like something is causing many people to kill themselves, but instead of facing up to it, the world instead chooses to blindfold themselves to the issues, and anyone who tries to get them to see them is kind of wrote off as insane. But as with any great allegorical horror, it functions on a base level, even if you don't go looking for the deeper meaning. So it works on two levels. In the sequel, we instead go to Barcelona and follow a new European cast who are obviously largely Spanish, but also features English and German language actors. Mario Casas plays Sebastian, who we meet traveling around with his daughter, trying to evade gangs of blind people who have inherited the city. However, we soon learn that Sebastian has been corrupted and is what is described as a seer, making him a threat to all around him, which is a really interesting way to kind of flip the narrative and give the concept a fresh spin, instead of the old horror trope of just setting a sequel somewhere else with a lot of new characters and playing out a worse copy of the original, which is basically trying to achieve the exact same thing. It is a Netflix production, so naturally there's a huge budget that's clear to see on screen. However, instead of blowing it all on Hollywood A-listers this time, Georgiana Campbell is likely the only face that you're going to recognize here. Writer-directors Alex and David Pastor invested the budget on building a post-apocalyptic scale and set pieces instead. As a big fan of this genre, I do love seeing famous cities reimagined as kind of desolate hellscapes. Or alternatively, I also love, and you get that here, the thrilling moment where shit hits the fan and kind of the devastating hysterical chaos that ensues on the moment the apocalypse starts to happen. In these moments, Bird Box Barcelona really works. The action set pieces are thrilling and the concept is fresh enough. We haven't seen kind of multiple sequels yet that, unlike, say, a zombie apocalypse, they don't have to bend over backwards to try to think of something we haven't seen before to get our brains into hyperdrive. Where it functions less is wherever you have to try and engage your brain for anything else, though. For example, characters speak in a blend of Spanish and English seamlessly, which is they both understand and respond in their native languages to the point that you're like, why not just speak the same language, guys? But it's playing towards that Netflix kind of desperate attempt not to alienate any of its audiences and be universal with everything it does with its content. And that might sound good and inclusive on paper, but actually you ultimately sacrifice credibility for the sake of getting subscribers. The emotional beats also don't really work, as it just gets confusing as to what the rules really are. There's an attempt to evolve the original's metaphor, specifically focusing just on grief, but it only really muddies the water more than anything. Like, you can't think it out and kind of go, oh, that's how that leads to that. And actually, if you look back to the original, it's like, no, that's breaking the rules that they very clearly set out in the first one. Bird Box Barcelona isn't a bad movie by any means. The concept still works. I'm not opposed to more tinkering with it. I'd watch other sequels, or if they went for a TV adaptation, I'd give it a try, because again, it is its own unique kind of version of the post-apocalyptic stuff that I do enjoy. It just lacks the soft strokes that made the first one so immediately engaging, and trends more towards just generic horror, which again, it operates fine as. It's grand if you're looking for something on a Saturday night, but it's probably something you're going to forget about fairly quickly.